Hey everybody, today I'm going to be installing the Revolver X4s tonneau cover on my wife's Ford F150. We did have this 4-part folding tonneau cover on, and it worked well for a good number of years, but it's starting to show some wear and leaking in places, so we decided to replace it. This X4S got great reviews, so time to install it. See how that goes. Stay tuned. That's how it's packed. Looks like everything's intact. Good to go. Okay, here's what's in the kit. A couple of rails left and right. Labeled left and right, that's good. Looks like we got a bag of hardware and instructions, that's good. And then the cover itself is a roll-up cover. The benefit to this is each one of those slats is a solid piece, but has a flexible joint, so it can roll up in this little ball like this, which is much easier for somebody like my wife to roll all the way up versus something like that with had a giant panel you had to flip up. Took a little more effort. Anyway, this thing is self-locking. When it closes, it automatically, the last part of it closes near the tailgate, it swings a bar up automatically that locks the whole thing in place, and you shut your tailgate and you can't get it open. So that was pretty cool too. I'll show you that once we get it installed. But got all the old railings off and gonna do a little cleanup here and then start with this installation. Shouldn't be too tough. Here we go. Okay, here's everything that was in the yellow bag. Got a lot of trim pieces, I think for the front, maybe around the sides, I don't know. We're gonna figure all that out. We got the clamps that clamp it into place, bag of hardware, straps which hold it in place when you want to drive with it rolled up, and looks like some pretty good instructions. So looks like everything's in order. Got a real good price on this. I'll put a link down below to where I got this. I'm not affiliated with the product or the vendor at all. Just think it's a real good price and thought I'd pass it on to you guys. Be aware it did take about a month to ship to me, and my credit card was charged up front, so made me a little nervous. If it came and wasn't complete or something was wrong with it, you know, you only have a certain amount of time. I think it's 60 days to dispute a charge on your credit card, so I was a little nervous about that. But from the very beginning they told me it would take a month to ship, and it took a month to ship, just about exactly, and it seems to all be here and in good working order and brand new, so I'm pleased. Therefore I'm going to put a link in the description below where I got this if you're interested. Okay, I'm moving the install inside, partially, the garage, because it looks like rain. And this has to be a clean install. I don't want any rain on it. So we're going to do this undercover. So here we go. Alright, step one says we need to clean the railing up here along the bulkhead. And as you can see, it's pretty dirty from the last seal that was there. So I'm going to go find something to clean that with, get it good and tidy, because after you clean it, you put down the new sealant strip. I figured out what it said these two things were for. If you had a drop-in bed liner, you use this thinner sealant strip. If you don't have a bed liner, which I don't. I mean, I do, but it's sprayed in, it's not drop in. You use this thicker sealant strip. So this is the one we'll be using. But first I got to clean it. Okay, to clean it, I'm just going to simply use some soapy water, followed up with some clean rinsing water, and dry it off real well. I'm going to use a scrubber sponge to help me get all this grime off from the last several years of what's there. So let's see how this works. Back to you shortly. Okay, got that washed off. Pretty good job of washing it off. Maybe hard to see in the garage, it's a little dark, sorry. Anyway, needs to dry now. Tried drying it with a towel, got it pretty much dry, but gonna let it air dry for a minute. And here in Texas today, it's like 150% humidity. So it's gonna take a while to air dry, I think. But I'm gonna give it a little time and we'll be back in a second. All right, I think that's about dried enough. So here's my seal. I'm not going to peel it yet. I'm just going to see how much I have here. Make sure I have enough. If I don't, I'll have to just center it. Yeah, it looks like it goes from rail to rail. Plenty to put out. All right, great. So let's just start at this end. Peel back this adhesive just a little bit. And they said put it right on the edge, the bedside edge of this. So I'm gonna butt it up against that trim piece there, which really needs to be sitting a little lower. And I'm just gonna peel this back and sort of set this down at the same distance, try to get it at the same distance all the way across. Pull back a little, set it in place, and I'm gonna do the rest of this, speed it up for you guys so you don't have to wait. All right, gonna grab the scissors and cut the rest of this off, and I think we'll be in good shape. All right, good deal. Next step. All right, it says position the passenger side railing marked A, and there's no A on the label. I can just tell from the diagram this is the passenger side label. Happens to say right and left. Don't know why they can't do right and left in the instructions instead of passenger and driver, but not too terribly difficult. According to the illustration, we are to set this rail right on this ledge with this piece of it, and can you all see that? Let me angle it down a little bit. This piece of the railing needs to be butt up against the headboard of your bed, so like that. And now it says install the first bracket somewhere right around in here. So that we're going to do next. Got to put the rail down and go get the bracket. Hold on. It says place this bracket, once I get the railing up, place this bracket no more than 12 inches from the end of the railing. So somewhere along in here. Doesn't have to be precise. It just says as close to the end as possible, no further out than 12 inches from the end. So let's try this. And I believe it goes on like that. I don't know. Gonna have to play with this for a minute. All right. It goes on like that with the bolt facing out. 9/16" socket to pull it tight. In between here, what gets clamped is this piece of this railing and the side of the truck bed. So let's try this. Gonna put the bracket down for a minute. Get this where I think it belongs. It's really pretty comfortable fit. I want it to be, well, I don't know if it'll level up when I cinch it tight. I was worried about level, but I think it'll level up when I cinch it tight under here. Yeah, I can feel the ridge. There's a real like thin ridge here, so it's going to clamp down just like that. So let's put that here. Make sure that looks right. Yeah, that looks right. Hand tighten it as much as I can. Make sure it's butt up against the truck. There we go. Get my 9/16 and crank this puppy down. Don't want to over tighten it. Yeah. All right. I'm guessing we do the same with a couple other brackets. Let's do that. All right, there's 3 of these brackets on each side. We've already installed one. We're going to put the middle one in and the end one. It says hand tighten these things at first, so I tightened that first one way down too much, so I untightened it a little bit until I get all these in, and then I'll go back and tighten them all. But same setup, it just slides up on the railing and the bed liner railing as far up as it'll go, and then clamps down. So here we go. I'm going to say somewhere in the middle. It's right about here. And I need more space with this part, this clamp. There we go. Alright. Get that as far up as it'll go. Keep it square up there, and just sort of hand tighten it a little bit. Not a lot. You know, they say hand tighten. That's probably a little more than hand tighten. We'll see if I'm goofing up. All right, and let's figure out where the last one goes. I think somewhere down here at the end. 12 inches or less from the end of the tailgate, it says. All right. This is that locking mechanism. Cool, because when the bed rolls out and rolls to its final resting place here, it pushes down on this, which pulls this metal sheath over the entire bed liner and locks the entire thing in place. You can't lift it up anywhere. It's the coolest design. Great engineering. All right, let's put this last bracket in down here. See where I have some clearance. No more than 12, it said, so we're going to go right there, see if I can get it all the way up. Yeah, that feels pretty all the way up. All right, hand tighten. That's pretty simple. I guess we do the other side next. All right, yeah, the instructions say do the same thing on the other side, but I was reading through them more thoroughly because 10 foot-pounds of torque is what it says these brackets ought to be tightened down with, and that just seemed a little, I mean, I got a torque wrench, but it's measured in hundreds of foot-pounds of torque, not 10, so 10's got to be not very tight. So I got to reading, you know, thinking, well, at some point it's going to want me to tighten that down. But no, it doesn't. It wants you to leave it at that because it says any tighter and it could warp this bed rail top, the clamps if they're any tighter. You know, I don't buy that much, and I do want this to be solid, so I'm gonna probably over tighten it. Not super tight, but you know, I don't want the clamps to fall off or get loose through months and months of driving. So I've already tightened this side down, you know, not with two hands, just one hand, just pretty snug. And that's the way I'm gonna leave it. Now I'm gonna do the other set just like I did this set, and we'll be back for the next steps. All right, got them both on. Got this butt up against the headboard of the truck bed. It's pretty tight all the way through. 3 clamps, both sides. Locking mechanism works on this side. Come over here. Same deal over here. Yep. Locking mechanism works. Butt up against. Okay. I think it's time to put that top on and attach it. I think that's the next steps. Okay, according to the instructions, we take that and we lay it up here on these rails we just installed at the tailgate end, and we unroll it towards the bed of the truck, discarding the packaging that's built into it all along the way. So I need 2 hands to do that, so here we go. Alright, which way are you going to unroll? Alright, I see you. And you're going to unroll that way. So, here we go. Whoa, this thing is not light. Okay. Sit down here. Stand on my Ford sissy bar here. And get this thing up here. All without busting my head. Or I could just close up the tailgate. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, I'm sure it wasn't supposed to be that easy, so I'm sure I did something wrong, but it is what it is. Now, let me cut the packaging off this thing and roll it out. I'm gonna speed this up for you guys. All right, cool. I love this texture of the top. It's not just slick or glossy. It's a matte finish. It's got a great feel to it. It feels very solid. This is no tarp. This is hard. Very nice. I'm gonna roll this end up so I can pull it towards me, because we're gonna attach the end closest to the bed of the truck down with some clamps. So. And these are the clamps. So let me take some time and get these going. All right, instructions say roll this back a little bit like this and insert these bolts in here. I'm guessing just like that. And then close it back down, and when you do, these bolts are going to slide right in the grooves of this bracket, and then we get to crawl underneath and attach them. So I'm going to do that. I need 2 hands, so back in a second. All right, I got those bolts in place and I've got it laid down. The instructions say that you slide the tonneau cover forward so that the edge of the vinyl covering here, this matte black covering, the edge of that lines up with the front edge of the railing right here. So looks like I've got that pretty well in line. Same on the other side. Now I can go underneath and tighten up the bolts. Okay, we're underneath. That's what it looks like underneath. So we're gonna tighten these down with this hardware. First thing it says, got a rubber washer and a steel washer. The rubber washer goes first, it goes up, then the steel washer, like so. Just on there like that. And then, I want to get you real close, gotta hold this with my hand. Then we have this little nut, this hand tighten nut thing that goes on it. Now remember, I've already lined it up. I've already lined it up above. So now we just tighten this up. Why isn't that tightening? Oh, I guess it's got some kind of lock washer type device inside that keeps it from rattling loose during months and months of use. So we're just going to hand tighten that down. Alright. Completely squashed that rubber washer. We're going to do the same now with this one. One second. Put that up there. Get the nut on there. And tighten this one up as well. Okay. In hindsight, I probably should have done the inside one first and given myself room to grip, because this is not going to be simple. Alright, I'm going to put you down, tighten these up and put you down, and we'll come back and do the other side. Okay, put the passenger side bolts in, and now I'm over here at the driver's side, and I'm going to put the bolts in right up here. Same setup. I'm going to use the rubber washer first, then the metal washer, then the nut. This time we're going to start with the inside one, which will give me some room to grip the second one. So there we go. Got the rubber washer in there, then the metal washer, and then the nut. So I'm going to tighten these down and be right back. Okay, so I got the screws in, and it tells you to roll and unroll this just to ensure alignment and ensure that there's always an 1/8 inch clearance between these little square pieces and the side of the rail. There has to be an 1/8 inch clearance all the way down the rail. So this is how it closes. So simple. It just unrolls. And when it gets down here, it's got a wire controlled latch mechanism that sits down on this lever, and when it pushes down on that lever, it engages that rail long locking system so that every piece of this now is locked all the way down the rail. We come over here, the same deal on this side. Well, that's a satisfying sound. Just latches in place. And then you can't get in it anywhere. Let's make sure that we're still in alignment down here. Yeah, it looks pretty good here. Let's see what it looks like with that tailgate closed, though. That's got me concerned. Okay. I think I'm going to have to adjust the whole thing back towards the tailgate a little bit, because that seal is, while it does overlap, there is a, you can't see it under here, but there's there's a foam bumper that the tailgate is supposed to be pushed up against, helps keep the water out of it. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, you see this foam insulation runs the length of the tail end of the cover. The tailgate's supposed to pop up against that, create a seal so that moisture can't get in. And right now, the tonneau cover is too far back. So the tailgate, when it's fully closed, there's about an 1/8 inch gap. Doesn't make contact with that rubber. So I'm going to have to move the whole thing back. I want to say 1/4 inch, maybe a little more. Okay, I realigned this thing, pulled it back towards the end of the truck by about just shy of 1/2 inch. So now it closes well up into here and hits up against that rubber seal and will be somewhat waterproof. I mean, if you go through a car wash, it's going to spray water in there. It can't get that tight, and you shouldn't expect it. I mean, it's not advertised to be that tight. Anyway, so a little bit of heat, like it tells you to get a hair dryer, but luckily I live in Texas, so heat comes standard. Will cause this plastic to lay flat eventually. It won't look buckled up like this. It'll all lay flat. So that's okay. Love the look of this top. I mean, it's just a matte black finish. It's smooth. It's durable. It's tough. I think you can walk on it, but I'm not going to try. I have found that my tailgate, you got to give it a little push in to get it open. And that's because it's against that buffer that's pushing out all the time on it. Plus I installed new bump stops not long ago, and those push out on it a little bit too. So, all right, next I need to go back under there and tighten up those bolts since I realigned it, loosened them to realign it. Now that it's aligned properly, I need to tighten those up. Then we're going to roll the cover up and we're going to put the straps on it that adhere it to the headboard of the bed when you want to ride with the tonneau cover open, and you get almost full access to the bed of your truck, which is a good feature of this tonneau cover. So hang on. Okay, I think I've got it all lined up now. It fits right on the tailgate end. It fits right on the headboard end of the bed. My son brought up another great thing about this tonneau cover. Say hi.
Hi.
Okay. That when it's rolled up like this, it does not block the view of the back window. So the old tonneau cover had the 4 panels. When you flip them up and you want to ride with the tonneau cover open fully, well, they stand pretty high. They completely cover the back window. But here, there's some straps that hold this in place. We're about to put those in. But it doesn't cover your view out the back window. What a great engineering concept. All right, the tonneau cover is kept open by these straps. So one side of the strap has this clip that, just like the clips for the rails, the very same structure. You're going to clip it underneath just like you did the rails. And then the other part of this is adjustable and it latches on the other side. And I'll show you how that latches in just a minute. Okay guys, I got the brackets on both sides. So the straps are firmly attached to the truck now. The other end is a T attachment that's adjustable. So we're going to adjust it. We're going to adjust it down. And here's where it goes. Let me show you right over here. It wraps around the tonneau cover and it goes in this right here. It's an ingenious way of doing it, this T. It just pops right in and twists like that, and now you're locked. Now that's real loosey-goosey, so we're going to pull it tight like that. And there you go. Very simply in there to stay. A little bit of movement, but... And then to undo it, just pull that forward, which loosens the strap, and you turn it sideways and it pops out. Just that simple. We're going to do both sides, guys. All right, same deal on this side, same mechanism. Just going to pull it tight so it goes in right over here. It slides in that T, turn it sideways, and cinch it. Scoot it over and get it fit correctly, and then just cinch it tight. And that's not going anywhere. Unobstructed view. And you can ride with it open, get almost full access to your bed. Almost full access to your bed. Every bit as much access as you got with that 4-part folding tonneau cover. So that's pretty much the install. I think I have some padding bumpers to add to it. All right, the cover comes with these little rubber bumpers, self-adhesive tape on the back, and what they're for is to place right here on the rolling tonneau cover. Now the straps hold it in place, but should the straps for some reason fail, these bumpers are taped in this position so that if it was to roll forward and hit the glass of your truck, it's hitting these rubber bumpers and not the metal parts of the tonneau cover, so it protects the glass. It probably will never have to be used, but it's there for a safety measure, and I like it. So I've got these two installed. I'm going to go install two more on the other side. Okay, here you go. Installation complete of the Revolver X4s tonneau cover. Let's get this unstrapped and see what it looks like. Two straps, got my bumpers installed over there. It's just a twist of a T and it comes right out. Just twist it, it comes right out. And then with one hand, roll it all the way back. Locks into place. And that's what it looks like. Good build, excellent fit and finish. Successful install. That will be the end of it. So guys, thanks for sticking with me. I hope that you see some value in this like I do. I'll come back in a few months and tell you how it worked, but I think it's going to be great. I'll put a link in the description below, as I said, to where I bought this. If you're interested, go check them out. Not the speediest, but I got everything I ordered and I got it for a great price. So, thanks guys. Talk to you later.